Good morning and greetings from Northumberland on Monday the 30th of May. It's a damp May morning, and I think as our thoughts turn to the Jubilee, we will be hoping that the weather this year is better than it was 10 years ago when we celebrated the Golden Jubilee. In this period when we're praying for the coming of the Holy Spirit in the church as we move from Ascension to Pentecost, this year our thoughts are inevitably linked up with those of celebrating the 70 years reign of Queen Elizabeth II. And that's very important for us to do, and it's very important for us to make the link, I think. Yesterday I watched, I think some of you will have watched it as well, a programme on TV about the Queen's photographs and videos with commentary that came from Her Majesty. It was an incredibly moving experience. I'm a little bit younger than Prince Charles, 7 years younger than Prince Charles, but when I saw the scenes of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip and the other members of the family with Prince Charles and then with Princess Anne, I recognised scenes that I had seen in my own childhood in old photographs. Parents and grandparents gathering round and making a fuss of new children. And of course, from that came the fact that we always must remember that the Queen is part of a family. And her family, like every family, has had its ups and downs, its difficulties, its challenges, its tragedies, and its times of joy. And like us, she shares in those. Although I have to say my family never travelled on a warship to South Africa. There's where the difference lies. But the thing that struck me more and more as I listened to the words of the Queen was the way in which she freely and without any sense of embarrassment talked about the presence and the purpose of God in her life and in the life of her family. And that's something I think that even practicing Christians are sometimes find it difficult to do. We either become over preachy or we forget to say anything at all. But the Queen naturally seemed to talk about God, God's providence, God's care, God's love, and of our need to put ourselves in the hands of God without any sense of embarrassment, without any sense that she was trying to preach to people. She was speaking naturally from the presence of God in her life. And I think and reflect that as we think about the coming of the Holy Spirit, that is what we need in our lives. A quiet confidence in the presence of God abiding in us as Jesus promises, abiding in us through the power of the Holy Spirit, and a quiet and confident ability to talk about relying on God, to talk about placing God there in the centre of our lives and our families. And so let's look for that today, that openness to the presence of God, that ability to speak about it to others and to share it with them. And so may God bless our Queen. May God bless and protect the people of Ukraine. And may God be with us all, with his blessing and the power of his Spirit today.